Good evening, YouTube. You guys are now watching another segment of the Cali Effect. Today we're going to be going over the Mermail deck profile. Now, with the introduction of the July 16 ban list, Mermails have gotten very, very interesting. Being able to play multiple copies of Mermail Abyss Megalo because Atlantean Dragoons is add to, it really gives this deck a significant edge over a lot of other decks. It has raw power, it has destruction, it has a lot of things that decks really can't do all in one. It's the second deck that can search, or it's the second most searchable deck besides Necros, and I really just want to get down to the deck profile. It's just a great deck. I mean, it's not really much else to say about it. I'm going to be giving you guys not only the deck breakdown, cards that you could play as opposed to the cards that you see in here, and also a combo tutorial. So let's get into it. We're going to be running 2 copies of Mermail Abyss Megalo. Consequently, you can run a third because of Dragoons, and you can just really dive in and abuse the fact that, you know, pitching all your cards in. I just opted for 2 because I want to make different type of plays. 3 copies of Abystius, 3 copies of Pike, 3 copies of Lind, and this is really pretty much standard, and then 3 copies of Gun. You can run 2 copies of Gun. The reason why I'm running 3 is because this deck does need to keep up with the meta decks now. Before, when it was good, you only ran 2 and you only really needed 2. But now, since decks are faster than Mermails, you need to try to keep up with the speed. And Mermail Abyss Gun is a really big help to it. For the Atlanteans, we're running 3 Marksmen, 3 Infantry. I really don't see any way of running this any different. The max of every single Atlantean. I mean, if you're going to running multiple copies of Mermail Abyss Megalo, I really feel you should max out the Atlanteans. 1 Controller, 1 Undyne. This actually proved to be really good. Still summoning Gen X Undyne to send Dragoons to your graveyard to add a Sea Serpent monster to your hand. It's still almost godly-like. You know, it helps for searching out Megalo, it helps for searching out Molten Glacia, Deep Sea Diva. It's just really good. Also, you can send, you know, the straight to the Atlanteans to the graveyard. You can send Dragonites to the graveyard. So, I mean, like, it's still there. 1 copy of Deep Sea Diva, 1 copy of Turge, Dragonites, like I said before, and Molten Glacia, another card that I said before. That's going to sum up the monsters at about 28. For spells, we're going to be running 4, and you really don't have to run these. This is just something that I was testing. 2 copies of Forbidden Chalice. Now, Mermails are a deck that likes to summon monsters bigger than you. The reason why I ran Chalices is back when I actually did run lead. It was out to Cleafort Towers, and on top of that, Chalice is just a really good card. I think it's really underrated how Chalice works. You get to negate their opponent's effects, you get to activate it in damage step, so I mean, it's pretty good against Shadows and, you know, decks that use flip effect cards. It's also an attack boost at anything else, if anything else fails. 2 copies of Lance. I'd rather ask for forgiveness than permission in this deck, and Lance is going to fulfill that. If you guys haven't really noticed, this deck is pretty scared of back row, which is the reason why you run triple Marksman. And Lance doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, against back row and damage step. I can use it to decrease the opponent's monster's attack, so that's also a good thing. As for traps, we're going to run a triple Sphere, that's obvious, and double Raigeki Break. Now, I feel like I can talk about the cards that you could run instead, and it will change the it will change how the deck is built. Let's just put it that way. It'll completely change the concepts in most parts. I decided not to play lead because lead, don't get me wrong, lead is a good card, and it probably is the Outward Towers. If you make Dweller, you make lead, and I guess you'll have to Chalice it. Because I just remembered that it loses 500 attack, so yeah, that's not that great. But I felt that lead would be dead anytime I drew it. Granted, summoning a 2700 beater is fine, but I really couldn't think of a monster in the meta that Megalo couldn't take care of, or Megalo plus Dweller couldn't take care of, you know, or Megalo plus Chalice couldn't take care of, or Megalo plus Lance couldn't take care of. And I mean, ultimately, like I said, when you draw it, it's 100% dead. Granted, it's probably the best gun target, but that's really about it. It's not really much else good after that. You could run a 3rd copy of Megalo and just go Megalo Turbo. The only reason why I just opted out of that is because most of the rank 7s are not that great. Like, Draco Sack isn't good anymore. I don't even run it. Big Eye is alright, but unless the monster you're snatching is like something critical, you're not really doing anything much. And Abyss Gaia was probably better than the other 2, but Abyss Gaia was very susceptible to back row destruction, something that, you know, this format has been becoming really prevalent of. One copy of I'm sorry, this isn't being run. You could run Aqua Spirit. Aqua Spirit has a really good, it has a really good synergy with this deck. It allows you to synchro into a lot of interesting plays. More importantly, the most interesting play is that you can summon Aqua Spirit, summon Deep Sea Diva. Deep Sea Diva, bring out Marksman, and then you make Trish. So, I mean, that's pretty good right there. It has a really good Exceed plays. You know, it helps you make Bahamut Shark, so it's not ultimately a bad card. Osha can, at the very worst, special summons Lend to your side of the field so you can get that Lend abuse. But it does have a really good combo with Tias. You activate Tias, you special summon Tias, you know, you search out, and then you summon Osha, or you search out Osha, and then Osha gets rid of Tias, special summon something like Gund and Turge, and then you exceed and summon into Bahamut Shark after you special summon Aqua Spirit. So essentially it requires Aqua Spirit and Tias to go through. I'll probably show that to you guys a little later. Next is the Fishborg Archer. Fishborg Archer actually does have some really good interaction with this deck just because I do run 2 copies of 2 rank 7 or 2 level 7 synchros. The deck is, or the card goes like you discard, you know, one of your Atlantean cards and you can special summon it. You activate their Atlantean cards effects. But more importantly, you can like I said, you can synchro into other cards that are pretty good. Hild, I don't really like Hild at all anymore. But if you're gonna play triple Megalo, you can actually just get really interesting with Hild. Let's say if you Sphere for Lind for Pike, discard Hild, add Gun, and then special summon, I don't know, that lead that you drew in your hand. That's not that bad. So, I mean, I thought it deserved an honorable mention. You could run more of the Gen X engine, and that's not bad either. I just opted not to go to it because I didn't really need more than one. Another great card is Mass Change 2. You can actually substitute the Raigeki breaks for Mass Change 2 because Mass Hero Acid is a really, really good card. I just felt Raigeki break was better for spot destruction. But a lot of people tend to run Abyss Squall. I don't run it because, I mean, more often than not, I have like 3 monsters on the field. And then when I can use Abyss Squall, I probably already won. And Salvage. Salvage I don't use is just because I feel that Salvage is really bad. It seems like a good card, but then like when you start playing it, it's just not that good. If I were probably playing 3 Megalo in the lead, then I'd probably play Salvage just because, you know, I'll probably draw that 1 dead Megalo and really need that Salvage. But these are the tech choices that you guys could play. I'm obviously missing a lot of other staple cards like Soul Charge. I've seen people still play Reckless Greed. And like I said, Mermails are a very, very intricate deck. You can play so many different types of techs to them, and just to make the deck overall better fitting to your playstyle. But this is exactly what I was playing. It does really well. I want to say its best matchup is just about anything that uses back row. Like if your deck is heavy back row, it just goes blah. And its worst matchup would have to be kind of Shadow. Because if you're going against a good Shadow player and they know what you're playing against, they'll go on Winda, and then they'll like abuse the fact that you need Megalo as an out, and it gets pretty rough. So that's a thing, and I really wouldn't say anything else. Everything else seems pretty much even, but keep in mind you're playing like a tier 2 deck, and if you're playing against tier 1 strategies, then it's not going to be that much. Cleeford is also a very interesting matchup because, like I said, triple marksman, triple infantry. We're going to get something popping when, you know, you go against Clifford. And I run the double lance to get over Lose One Turn and the Raigeki break. So it's a really interesting matchup to have, especially when you start Malik Lyceum and stuff. Now let's get on to the extra deck. Alright guys, the extra deck is very, very straightforward. There are 14 cards in this extra deck. I did not include a level 8 synchro, and I'm going to let you know you can pretty much play whatever. I mean, Crimson Blader, Hot Red Dragon Archfiend, it does not matter. I mean, all of them are equally bad, so let's get into it. 1 copy of Leo, 1 copy of Trish, Black Rose, Gungnir. I still run this. I don't know, I have an infatuation with Gungnir. 1 Goyo Guardian, Armadis, 4 4s. We're going to go Bahamut Shark, Castell, Exiton Knight, Dweller, Trite, Kappa, Big Eye, and Giles. As you guys can see, like I said, I do not run Draco Sack. I do not run Master Blades. Draco Sack is just not good anymore. Destroying cards on the field and then special summoning tokens just really doesn't cut the cake anymore. It's very interesting that I say that because a couple years ago, Draco Sack was a $150 card and it was the best card ever. Now it's like, you know, not even included. I wouldn't even consider it the best rank 7 right now. But extra deck is pretty straightforward. Like I said, I was missing a level 8. I mean, not really much else to say about it. The Bahamut Shark is to special summon the Trite, and I run Kappa just in case For just in case you want to special summon with Bomber Shark or you want to go into Diva. I hope to God you're not summoning this off of Diva unless it's getting you some humongous type of advantage that I couldn't even fathom about. But everything else is straightforward. Abyss Dweller is probably the best rank 4 to go into, other besides Bahamut Shark. And that's pretty much it. I Trish actually pretty often, which is what this deck is kind of built for, but it's like, I'm not trying to build it on one card. Now I guess we can go on to the combos. Alright guys, now we're on to combos. There is so many Mermail combos that, I mean, like, I can't mention them all. I'm just going to mention, you know, quite a couple of combos that, you know, I can think of right now. And also, keep in mind that Mermail is a very, very fluid deck. You're going to run yourself into a lot of situations where you can do, excuse me, you can do certain things that you probably could have never done before. So, like I said, very, very interesting deck to play. I'm going to start off with the TS Aqua Spirit combo. Now this obviously requires another water monster, but it doesn't matter what water monster you have. Let's say we already used Gen X Undying to Synchro, and you know we want him. So basically we're going to activate TS Effect. We're going to go ahead and pitch the Gen X Undying to special summon TS. TS Effect activates again, and with TS we're going to get Oshia. We're going to go ahead and summon Oshia. Oshia Effect is going to target TS, and then we special summon 2 monsters afterward. Let's say we're going to get healed for maximum, you know, F-uage. And then we're going to go ahead and get a level 4 monster, which is Pike Turge. I hope you don't run any other level 4s other than Pike Turge and a Mermail. But yeah, that. And then we're going to send him to the graveyard due to Oshia's effect. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to banish the Gen X Undying. We're going to banish that to special summon the Aqua Spirit. So back then we used to go Mecha Equip Engineer and then Bahamut Shark. And the Mecha Equip Engineer will protect the Bahamut Shark. And then the Bahamut Shark, actually I have Bahamut Shark on me right now. The Bahamut Shark would special summon the Trite. And we detach, you know, obviously the Pike. So if the opponent goes like something interesting like Dark Hole, we'll just go, alright, detach the Oshia. And then we'll protect the Bahamut Shark, and then everything else get destroyed, and then we just have massive chain links going around. And then it's just like I said, so many things. We protect the Bahamut Shark again. We can activate its effect again. It's a really solid combo. Keep in mind if Trite does get destroyed, we can special summon, you know, Pike, TS, or Oshia. That gives us any access to our 7, 4s, and 3 plays. It's just pretty good. I always like this combo. It's definitely one of the better combos that Mermail has to offer. Another combo actually really isn't even a combo in itself. It's just abusing the fact that Dragon Eyes can be special summoned. Dragon Eyes plus any of your Atlantean cards is pretty deadly, even if your opponent's going first. Let's say they're trying to set up into some huge combo. Let's say if the Genlock actually, you know, still existed. They're setting into the Genlock, they make a lava chain. Well, looks like we're going to special summon Dragon Ice and discard Atlantean Infantry and destroy that monster. Keep in mind, Dragon Ice can activate in Graveyard too, so like, that's one of those things. Like I said, it's not essentially a combo by itself, but it's a pretty good card. The next combo is going to require just Deep Sea Diva and some way to inflict damage on your opponent. A monster that's maybe under 1400 attack, or if your opponent's wide open. So we're going to summon the Diva. Diva effect, we're going to summon the Marksman. We're going to attack with the Marksman. Marksman effect is going to activate. We're going to special summon the Dragoons. And then, I mean, we're going to go, obviously, attack with the Dragoons if you have the opportunity. Attack with the Diva if you have the opportunity. But then, main phase 2, we're going to go ahead and make Trish. Because that is a one-card Trish right there. Not really much else to say. Your opponent's going to lose some heavy advantage after losing some pretty significant damage. The next combo requires 3 cards. Most of these Mermail combos are very easy to set up. It's going to require TS, Dragoons, and another water monster. So we're going to activate TS effect, discarding Dragoons, special summon TS. TS effect is going to activate twice. The first one is going to go ahead and search me. TS is going to search me the Gund, and Dragoons is going to search me the Megalo. So now this is my hand. We're going to activate Megalo's effect. Oh, I'm sorry, and it requires lead in graveyard. My apologies. My apologies. We're going to activate Megalo's effect, or, you know, you could just really add anything else, and you can add Gund. Oh, no, actually, you can't, because you need a Sea Serpent. But it's going to require any monster in graveyard. It doesn't really matter. I preferred lead just because I was born to lead, not greed. So Megalo's effect is going to pitch these 2. special summon Megalo, and then you're going to activate all 3 chain links. You're going to search, you're going to special summon, you're going to destroy. And now you're sitting on the board where you have quite a few monsters. You can use Lead's effect to discard your opponent's card from their hand, attack for some good damage, then exceed summon from Mermail Abyss Giles. It's going to dwindle your opponent's resources, and it's going to go through a lot of yours. As you guys can see, I'm almost ready for a Moaling Glacia. If I went to something like Big Eye, afterwards snatch your monster, I can summon Moaling Glacia right there, and then just really kill 3 cards in my opponent's hand, destroy a monster on the field, and put a really deadly monster on the board, as well as Moaling Glacia. So it's pretty good. I just devastated the opponent out of 4 resources. I thought that was really good to say. The next one is going to require Sphere and Lind in hand, a Pike in graveyard, and a Gun in hand. So this is going to be really tricky. It's a little wombo combo. The only thing, like I said, it requires is Sphere and Gun. It doesn't even require Lind in hand. Lind in hand is not that great. So our opponent's going to attack. That's going to be in our graveyard. Our opponent's going to attack us directly. Oops, this is actually your hand. Our opponent's going to activate us directly. We're going to activate Sphere. Sphere is going to special summon Lind. More often than not, they choose to pass. If they do choose to attack to it, and you go through with the combo anyways, it doesn't really matter. You're going to search a lot. So they decide to go to the end phase. Lind gets destroyed. Lind is going to go ahead and special summon Pike. Pike's effect is going to discard Gun to search. Now with that, I normally tend to search front row or back row destruction, like infantry or marksman. So if my opponent has a deadly front row monster, or a face-up card that I don't want to see, I'm gonna search. Why am I tripping? I can't even search him. I'm gonna go ahead and search marksman. I'm just like completely tripping. And then Gun is gonna special summon Pike. Pike's effect is gonna activate. It's gonna discard the marksman. And then with that, we're going to search the Gen X Undyne, because Gen X Undyne is the only... I mean, I don't know. If you ask me, Gen X Undyne is the best possible target from here. Or you can go ahead, if you're playing the Fishborg Archer, and search Fishborg Archer and do a whole bunch of crazy stuff. And so then you destroy your opponent's back row. You have 2 monsters on the field. You have Gen X Undyne on the field. All off of that one play. You summon the Undyne, and then you just do crazy stuff from there. The Undyne can actually send the Atlantean Dragoons to the graveyard at the Moaling Glacia, exceed summon into the Bahamut Shark. Let me actually get you guys... a visual on here. So we're going to go into the Bahamut Shark, and Dragoons is in graveyard, so Moaling Glacia is in your hand. So Bahamut Shark's effect, we're going to detach to special summon, and we're going to special summon the Trite. Where's that Trite? We're going to special summon that Trite. Oh, and guess what? Now we have 5, water monsters in graveyard, so here comes that Moaling Glacia. And that's how easy it is to fill the graveyard. That's really the only reason why I run Moaling Glacia, is just to pick at people's hands. This, plus Trish, plus Lead, it's not too great, to keep picking at your opponent's hand like that. They're not going to like that, especially if they're like a Necros player. If they're a Shadow player, they might love you, but if they're a Necros player, then yeah, they're not going to love you at all. This deck is really good at summoning or putting a lot of monsters on the board, and having a drawback. When they're destroyed, you're going to get something out of it. So don't be afraid to put a whole bunch of monsters on the board and try to attack for game. Don't be afraid to destroy that opponent's back row, because you do have marksmen. Don't be afraid to destroy opponent's face-ups, because you do have cards like infantry. Thank you so much for watching another segment of The Cali Effect. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy.